both today and tomorrow for homecoming.
Okay, these are just examples at the end of the white packet for you to practice. It's not technically homework. We were hoping to have time to do this in class, but just to give you some extra practice, what you should do is try and fill out these 18 questions first, and then restart the video. So pause the video now, fill out those 18 questions, then start the video back up, and I'll talk through the answers so you can check your thinking. So x is approaching -2 from the right. So I look at my graph, I find x equal -2, and I'm looking for the dot on the graph whose x-coordinate is a little bit more positive than x equal -2. So this big old dot is right at x equal -2, precisely at that location. So that's not the dot I'm looking for. That's what I would be looking for if they had asked for f of -2. They didn't, but if they had, f of -2 would have a y-coordinate of precisely 0. But the dot that corresponds to an x-coordinate that's just a little bit positive of -2, that dot's way up here. That open circle, I don't look at that. That open circle is representing the presence of no dot. And sometimes I like to do what I call a ghost dot. That open circle has an x-coordinate of -2, comma, 3. But that's not a dot. That's showing where something is not located. That's why I did that yucky dotted line stuff. So for this limit, I'm looking at that purple dot, whose y-coordinate, so the purple location, because it's pink, that purple dot is located at not quite -2, it's just a little bit positive, and it's just a little bit below +3. Like if I were making a table, it's a little easier to see. I'd say at an x-coordinate that is just a little bit positive of -2, the y-coordinate is just a little bit negative of 3. Just a little bit below +3. Therefore, as x gets close to this value, y is definitely getting close to exactly 3. So that's the answer to that question. When x gets close to 0 from the left, I look up at my board and I find the open circle. That's not what I'm looking at again. That open circle is missing if there's nothing there. The location of that open circle would be 0, 0. That's the open circle. I'm not looking at the open circle. I'm looking at the dot that is just a little bit negative of x equals 0. So I'm looking right here. Looking at that dot. So if I were doing an xy table here, when x has a value that is just barely negative of 0, the y-coordinate is just barely positive of y equals 0. Therefore, this limit is precisely 0. For this limit, x is a little bit more than 0. So now I'm looking at this blue dot right here. I'm making a table. That blue dot has an x-coordinate that's a little bit more than 0. The y-coordinate is also a little more than 0. Hence, for limit, as x gets close to 0 from the right, the value of the y-coordinate is getting very, very close to equaling 0. So to answer this question, I'm looking at the blue dot. To answer this question, right here, I'm looking at this red dot. I am not looking at the open circle, because the open circle is again located at 0, 0. I don't want to look there, that's the wrong spot. So I'm not looking here. So this answer of 0 does not come from this 0. This answer of 0 comes from the fact that as x gets close to 0 from the left, the y-coordinate's getting very close to 0 itself. Similar here. To answer this question, I do not look at the graph. I simply compare the answer to my left-hand limit, the answer to my right-hand limit, because both of those limits are 0. This is 0. So I do not look at the graph. Okay, moving over here. X approaching 2 from the left. So just a little bit negative of 2. Here's positive 2. I would be looking not here. That open circle is located at 2, 3. That is not a point. That's the open circle. I don't want to look there. I want to look at the dot whose x-coordinate is almost 2. So table here. So when x is just a little bit less than 2, right here, the y-coordinate appears to be a little less than 3. That means the limit is exactly 3. So again, I get this answer not by looking at the open circle. I'm not looking there. I get this answer by looking at this blue dot right there. That blue dot's y-coordinate is infinitesimally close to becoming 3. Therefore, the value of the limit is exactly 3. For the right-hand limit, when x is slightly more than 2, I look at this red dot. That red dot has an x-coordinate that is slightly more than 2, has a y-coordinate that's slightly less than 3. Because of this, this overall limit is getting, this right-hand limit is getting very close to equaling 3. Again, to answer this question, I do not look at the graph. I should never look at the graph to answer this question. I always look at the answer to the left-hand limit. I always look at the answer to the right-hand limit. Because those two are both 3, this limit is also 3. Okay, f of 2. F of 2, remember this coordinate here is showing where the open circle is located. There is no dot at x equal 2. So there is no y-coordinate at x equal 2. The way we write that there is no y-coordinate is we say the y-coordinate is undefined. F of 0, however, this open circle is located at 0, 0. This closed circle up here, this closed circle, that's located at 0, 3. That's the dot that tells me that when the x-coordinate, back to a table, when the x-coordinate is precisely 0, the y-coordinate is precisely 3. Therefore, f of 0 has a value of 3.